What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Planetary Reviews, and I'm here to finally talk about the Netflix TV show for Marvel, The Punisher, the next installment in their many line of Netflix series. Now, I was looking forward to this a whole lot. I love The Punisher. I think Frank Castle is a badass of a character. He is awesome. He takes down his enemies with brute force, and he makes sure they're gone. He's not afraid to draw the line with killing. I love his character. He's also very deep with the amount of loss he's gone through. The fact that he lost his family makes him very compelling. To see this broken man build himself back up to become this anti-hero, in my opinion, he is really a hero. I know he kills, but I see him as a really good hero. But was this series good, is the question. Well, let's talk about it. First things first, let's talk about the story. The story to this show is that we have the Punisher, Jon Bernthal, played great, by the way. He does a great job, does an awesome performance. Really, you could feel his anger when he's pissed off, and then you could also feel his sadness when he's sad about, when he's thinking about his family, when he's thinking about his past in the military and stuff like that. It's very cool. Very great performance. I loved it. He does a great job. And we're seeing him, he just finished taking down all these different gang members that he think were involved in his family's killing. And now he finds out that there might be more to it. He finds out that there might be an organization out there that was even more responsible for his family's death than he knows. So we have to figure out together and figure out what was happening that day, what made this happen, who was responsible. And throughout the entire series, that is what we learn. And as you go through, you have some really psychological studies. I was not expecting this. When I saw The Punisher, when I saw that trailer with Metallica in the background, I was expecting just all-out action throughout the entire thing. I was expecting him hunting down people with some plot, but mostly the Punisher being a badass and killing. And you do get that. You do get that in this series, which I do appreciate. But what I think was now that I've really thought about it, I think this was a really bold move on their part. This show decided to focus on the psychological aspect of things. It decided to show us a little bit more of who Frank Castle is as a person, how he's feeling, how he's dealing with this, how he lives with having these horrible dreams about his past. And also, it also deals with a very serious subject that does happen to a lot of veterans, unfortunately. Shell shock. They have to deal with horrendous dreams, and sometimes they come back. They're not the same person they were when they enlisted. And we have a character in this show that they focus on. Again, this is no spoilers, but throughout the series you see him beginning to break down because he's so used to being in the military, so used to being a warrior, that adjusting to normal society is just almost impossible. And his character was portrayed greatly by, let me just look up his name real quick, played greatly by a man named Daniel Weber. And he plays a character named Lewis, who's out of the military, and he's dealing with horrendous dreams. He's trying to figure out how to adjust back. And the series does a great job of showing just how serious of a problem this is. This is not easy. This is not made up. This is not fantasy, this whole situation. Yes, it might not be a real person, that they might have made up the person, but this does happen. And it was really intriguing that the show started to study this, started to show you what would happen. And along the way, he made some bad decisions. And the Punisher had to make sure that he put an end to that. But also, as the show went along, you start learning more of the secrets behind what happened to his family. And as the series goes on, you are very intrigued. You really do care about this whole situation. And I admit, the pacing in the show wasn't the best. That was really the problem with me. It was a little bit too much plot. I like plot in my shows. I don't want it just to be him killing people for no reason. No. But this is still the Punisher. I wanted a little bit more oomph. Don't get me wrong, when the action did happen, it looked great. And the last 3 episodes, episode 10, 11, and 12, were great. They were the Punisher being the Punisher, and it was badass, and I loved it. And the first episode was really great as well. I really enjoyed it because he had a great moment in there, and just those episodes were my favorite. But in between, I kind of felt like it got a little slow, a little bogged down. I was still intrigued through about it, but it really bogged down. It felt like a little bit of a chore as I was watching this. But then when the action would pick up, I would sit there and be like, yeah, now we got this. And then sometimes the plot would really pick up and I'd be like, yeah, that's interesting, that's understandable. This is good. But then there were just some moments where it was just like that. And I wanted a little bit more in The Punisher. I wanted more action. I wanted more just intensity. But don't get me wrong, when it got dark, when it got gritty, when it got brutal, this show does not want to hold back. It wants to just throw you into the action and just show you all the blood, all the death you can imagine that you would be expecting from a Punisher comic book. And it was great when that happened. Also, I got to talk about some more of the performances. One of the characters is this female CIA officer or Homeland Security, one or the other. I forgot exactly what branch she was in. And her character was portrayed by Amber Rose Rivard? Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce her name. I'm sorry if I'm butchering her name. But she did a great job. She was very interesting. You wanted to know what was going down with her character. You saw just how devoted she was to figuring out what this organization is, who was involved in it. And when she finds out certain things about it and the way she goes at it and does not give up, great job. I loved it. She was great. Another person I want to talk about is the man who played Micro. Micro was a great character. He's a hacker, if you don't know, and he finds his way to be able to find the Punisher, and they end up having to be a team, and I really love that. They had a great chemistry. Every time they were on screen together, his name is, I want to give these guys proper credit because they all did great. His name is Ebon Moss-Bachrach. I'm butchering his name, but I've tried my best to pronounce that. It would, but he did a great job. The chemistry between those two characters were awesome. Every time he was also comedic relief a lot of the time, so he had a lot of good jokes, a lot of funny moments, and really heartfelt moments that I loved between him and the Punisher, and it was great. His backstory was even more intriguing as well, because you want to know how he got into the situation he's in. Why is he doing this right now? And the show does a great job of making you want to know what's going on. Also, the cinematography in this show was great. Everything was filmed beautifully. When the action went down, you knew exactly what was happening. You knew everything that was happening at every point. You knew there was no like crazy camera movements where you're like, what's going on? Jesus, stop moving the camera that much. Like, it was all very clear. It wasn't as good as John Wick. Some people were like, oh, I wonder if this is gonna be better than John Wick with like the gunplay and stuff. Wasn't as good as that, but it was still great. Loved all the action. I don't think they had any scene that stood out to me that was like as good as that hallway scene in the very first season of Daredevil, but everything looked good, at least to me. I didn't think they had a moment that they were trying to outdo themselves with that one long shot with no edits. I don't think there was a moment like this in this show, at least as I was watching it. I don't think they tried it, but the cinematography was still top notch. The action when it went down was top notch, looked great. They did not hold back. All the performances in this show were great. The villain in this show, I'm not going to say who it is because I feel like that would be a spoiler. So the villain in this one is great. We have two villains actually, both of them portrayed beautifully. And again, I'm not going to talk about them. I feel like one of them is kind of hidden. You don't really know he's the bad guy, so I'm not going to say anything, but he does a great job. Very compelling villain, why he's doing this. And what goes down in the end with Frank Castle and the villain, an amazing scene. Absolutely breathtaking, because the amount of grit that was in this scene, the amount of brutality that was in this was awesome. You're going to be glued to your seats, I'm telling you. For the entire series, it is really good. It just has slow moments. The pacing really needed work, in my opinion. I felt like it needed a little bit more Punisher doing Punisher things. Give me a little bit more. Just like Daredevil had a lot more action, in my opinion. This one, I wanted a little bit more with the action. But overall, this was not a bad show. This was not another Iron Fist snore fest. This was not another one of those. But at the end of the day, the Punisher Netflix series gets a solid B from me. If they would have just improved that pacing a little bit more, it would have been definitely able to hit like the B plus and the A ranking, but for me the pacing really just brought it down a little bit because I was just expecting a little bit more punishing coming from the Punisher. You know what I mean? He's the Punisher. I want to see him do more killing. I know it couldn't be the entire series of him just fighting. Just want a little bit more, and it just got slow and a little dull at times. But all the performances were great. Cinematography was awesome, and it was really intriguing, and I really cared about every single one of the characters in this show. Anyway, guys, that's my review on the Punisher Netflix series. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Did you like it more than me? Did you think the pacing was good? What are your opinions? Because I love the Punisher. I'd love to know what fans think about this. I'm passionate about this stuff. I'm passionate about superheroes. I'm passionate about film. I'm passionate about games. I want to hear all your opinions on everything. So please comment down, send a comment down below, ask a question, say your opinion. I'll try my best to reply. But guys, that's it for the review. My next review that's coming out is going to be Battlefront 2. It's coming out soon. Sorry, I'm trying my best to fit this in, guys. I work in a business where you have to, you know, during Thanksgiving time, it gets real busy and it takes a lot of time, and then school on top of that and stuff like that. I'm just trying to fit it in. It's a little much right now, but I promise you I am playing Battlefront 2. I am getting my hands on it, and I am putting a lot of time and effort into it, so the review will be here soon. Don't worry. But guys, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.